is talking about rational numbers and BEDMAS. So order of operations is always BEDMAS, okay? What order do we do it in? We always solve brackets inside them unless it's just separating a negative sign. So we have to see what our brackets are telling us. Then we do exponents. Then we multiply and divide left to right. Then the last thing's always adding and subtracting left to right. So whenever you see an add and subtract, you do it very last. Okay, let's take a look at some examples. On the first one, we've got dividing, subtracting, and timesing. So the first thing you're going to do is the dividing. So when I divide those two, I get a negative 2. Then you write the rest of the equation, minus 7 times 0.2. Now I have to do the timesing part, and then you write the rest of the equation. So my negative 2 comes down, a negative times a positive gives me a negative number, and I've got 7 times 0.2 gives me negative 1.4. Now we add and subtract them left to right. This should only be a review for you. Now we add the numbers left to right. Negative 2 subtract 1.4 to give us negative 3.4. Okay, so check your work on A. You should have got negative 3.4. Okay. On B, we do have brackets. We didn't have brackets on the first one that meant anything. All the brackets did on the first one was tell us to separate a negative. On this one, I have some adding to do in the middle. So if I solve my brackets, I get negative 2.8. Okay? Then I've got some exponents. 4 exponent 2 gives me 4 times 4, which is 16. Then I've got my timesing on the end, times 0.2. The next thing I need to do, my next step, after I did my brackets and my exponents, I need to multiply. So I'm going to have negative 2.8 plus 16 times 0.2 gives me 3.2. Now I add and subtract left to right. Negative 2.8 plus 3.2 is going to give me positive 0.4. Okay, check your work, check your steps. Okay, letter C. The brackets are only separating a negative, and you're going to divide the 0.8 and the negative 0.2. You're going to get 3.8. Positive divided by a negative gives me a negative. When you divide those, you're going to get 4. Now you type in 3.8 subtract 4. You're going to get negative 0.2. Okay, check your work on that one. Check your work. Okay. Over here, the 4.6 comes down. I need to solve my exponent, which is 3 times 3. That'll give me 9. So my subtract 9 comes down. I write down my plus 3.9, divide by negative 1.3. Now I do my dividing. When I divide those, I'm going to get a negative 3. These come down. So I get 4.6 subtract 9 subtract 3. It's going to give me a negative 7.4. Check your work. All right, we need quite a bit of room. Let's take our fractions one step at a time. I have brackets, so I have to solve inside them first if there's more than one thing. I have more than one fraction in the first set of brackets. So it's subtracting, so I need a common denominator. I don't have one yet, but I know that they'll both make a bottom number of 8. So the first one, I have to change to an 8 on the bottom, but the second one already has an 8. So what do I multiply 4 by to get 8? 2, good. So if I multiply the bottom by 2, I have to multiply that top number by 2. So it's going to become a 6. Then I write the rest of the equation. Divide by negative 5 over 16. Now what's that bracket over here? What are they doing actually? That's right, they're just separating the negative there. Good job. So now we've got the same bottom number here. As an 8, we can just subtract our top numbers now. What's 6 subtract 7? Negative 1. So I'm going to get negative 1 over 8 dividing by negative 5 over 16. Now what were those dividing rules? What do I have to do with that second fraction? You're going to flip it, aren't you? So I'm just going to write it over here because I write really big. So I have a negative 1 over 8. The first one doesn't change, but the second one does. So I change my divide sign to a times sign, and I'm going to put the 16 over the 5. Now remember, it's negative. The negative always floats to the top. Now we're back to timesing. How many negative signs do I have? 2. Is my answer going to be positive or negative? It's going to be positive. Good. Now multiply your tops, multiply your bottoms. So I'm going to get 16 over 40. And what do you know about both of those numbers? They divide by 4. They actually divide by 8. So let's try dividing by 8. They both divide by 8. We divide both by 8, we get 2 over 5. Okay, check your work. Okay, we're going to do B the exact same way. All the brackets they're doing here is separating our negative sign. So you have to do the multiplying part first. So we're going to do the multiplying. So we're going to times the top numbers and the bottom numbers. That's going to give me 2 over 18, and it's negative because you only have one negative sign, and you're adding 1 over 2. Okay?
With the multiplication, I don't need to change the denominator.
No, you don't. Never with multiplying or dividing. It's only adding and subtracting. You need a common denominator. So now we need common denominators. What is the common denominator between 2 and 18? Well, 9 divides into 18. It's actually 18. So this guy doesn't change, negative 2 over 18. But this one I can times by 9 on the top and bottom. So I get plus 9 over 18. Now they have the same bottom number. At that point, we add the tops only. So I'm going to get 7 over 18, and I'm done. Okay, that's as low as it goes. 7's a prime number. You can't go any lower. Okay, here's C and D. The brackets in this case are sitting side by side. When brackets sit side by side, they mean multiply. So these ones I'm multiplying. So that means I'm going to multiply top numbers and multiply bottom numbers. And I've also got 2 negative signs. What does 2 negative signs mean my answer is going to be? It's going to be a positive. Good. So this guy's going to come down, 3 over 4. The subtract sign comes down. And now I'm just going to multiply tops and bottoms over here. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 4 is 12. All right. With subtracting, I need the same bottom number. What is a good bottom number to use here?
4.
12 works, okay, because 4 divides into 12. So that means we're going to multiply the 4 by the 3 and the top number by 3, because 4 times 3 is 12. That gives me 9 over 12, subtract 2 over 12. I didn't have to do anything to the second one because he was already over 12. So now we just subtract our tops. We get 7 over 12. Final answer, all done. Okay, check your work on that one. Letter D, we have some dividing. So dividing has to come before adding. So we've got negative 1 over 6. We're going to change the divide to a times. And then we're going to flip the second fraction. It's going to become 5 over 1. Now we multiply tops and bottoms to give us negative 5 over 6. We have to write the rest of our equation out. Plus negative 3 over 2. Subtract 3 over 2. Why did I just write a subtract sign, not plus a negative? Because it means the exact same thing, right? Whenever you have a plus and a negative, you just take them away because there's 2 different signs, right? 2 different signs in the middle can just mean a subtract sign. All right. Hang tough. We'll just finish this up. So we need the same bottom number. Our bottom number can be a 6. So I'm only going to change the first or the second one here. I'm going to times it by 3.
The Flash Fiction Challenge deadline has been
Okay, we multiply the right-hand side by 3 on the top and the bottom to get our bottom number of a 6. Our top number is going to become a 9. Now we subtract our tops to it's negative 14 over 6. That's not a final answer because we can divide both of them by 2. So we're going to get negative 7 over 3 as our final answer. Check your work. Last 2 examples. These are word problems. All they want us to do is to put the number where it belongs in the question. So it says that 28.4 is going to go where the F is because it says degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm going to put that where the F is, and then I'm going to do BEDMAS. So I'm going to have C equals 28.4, subtract 32, then divide by 1.8. Okay, give it a try. Okay, we have to do brackets first. So we're going to get negative 3.6. Then we're going to divide by 1.8. When we do that, we're going to get negative 2. So that means negative 2 degrees Celsius is 24.4 or 28.4 Fahrenheit. Now we're going to work backwards. We're going to put the negative 12.5 where the C is and do BEDMAS to find the Fahrenheit scale. Okay? So we're going to have 32 plus 9 times, we put our negative 12.5, divide by 5. Okay, give that a try. Okay, when we do our BEDMAS, we're going to get Fahrenheit equals 32 plus, we need to do our multiplying. We're going to get negative 112.5, then divide by 5. Now we must do the dividing part. So we get 32 plus negative 22.5. Last step, we do the adding. Okay? So 32 plus negative, is it 32 positive? Yep. Okay. So 32 subtract 22.5. That's going to give us 9.5. Okay.